Hi there. Welcome to the Small Business Coffee Break, the video series where we take a few minutes to work on your business, not just in it. Today we talk with Stephanie Fortune about, with the PEO, do you still have control of your employees? Stephanie has over 8 years of experience as a PEO consultant, and in 2018 opened her own firm, Fortune Business Consulting. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. Right. So, so that I think that naturally comes over to the next question. I think you've alluded to it. But when with a professional employer organization, the small business that hired the firm or the worksite employer, they have 100% control. They can fire, hire whomever it is that they want, whenever it is that they want. There will be an administrative process, I suppose. But the worksite employer or the small business that's hiring the PEO, they retain full control.
Yeah, so they have control over who they hire, who they fire, so on and so forth, right? Where it kind of gets to a point where the PEO will get more involved in that decision is, let's say, again, same construction company has an employee, that employee has had 2 claims and it just looks a bit fishy, so to speak, right? So the PEO might get involved and kind of investigate and look at the circumstances that surrounded maybe these 2 claims. They both happened on a Monday after a holiday weekend or something like that. Things just look a little bit off, right? So they might start asking questions. Okay, was there anything in terms of being under the influence, so on and so forth, to see if there's an added risk to the organization that exists here that we need to kind of, again, vet, or it might not make sense for the betterment of the organization. Because again, they both have an obligation, they both have a responsibility. It's a shared exposure, if you will, right? So it's a shared risk. So they both have a fiduciary responsibility essentially to one another. So it's, let's work collectively to make sure that this person that is having these claims is not necessarily harming our organization deliberately. Does that make sense?
It's the risk management portion that comes with being an employer, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
That comes with everything. You made me laugh because claims that happen over a long weekend. You're alluding to the individual who maybe hurt themselves over the long weekend. All of a sudden, on Tuesday, their back went out at work, and we've seen that. But more commonly, what we see is, I have a fever this morning on the Tuesday after a long weekend, and it's just,
right.
Yeah, they had a good time.
Cases like that.
If you run a business for any period of time, you've run into things like that.
Absolutely.
But it's really interesting to I don't think I had ever considered that level of of being a partnership, right? Because I understand that both are employers, and that makes perfect sense. But now, as the small business, you get the added benefit of maybe a more corporate type or corporate style or corporate level risk management when you're talking about the health of employees, wellness of employees, the workers' compensation, which in Florida, a lot of times when people think PEO, that's kind of what their go-to, or at least when they call, an insurance agency, that's the first thing that they think about. It's like, I don't want one, or I do want one, and there's a lot of good reasons or bad reasons for that, all depending on the employer. I think it's like anything. But so one of the real benefits is that you do get this, large company mindset to help your small business with some of these very difficult things. Let's keep the conversation going. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Stephanie, ask it in the comments, or her contact information is in the description. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Stephanie or any other professional in their field, my contact information is also in the description, and I'm always available through a direct message. See you next week for another cup of coffee and more questions answered.